What is going on, everybody? Today we're looking at the Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified Series Clutch with VAMP. So this is really cool, getting a vehicle to go along with our G.I. Joes. So a good guy vehicle now kind of can face off against the Istang and looks really cool overall. So it's kind of like a Jeep or some sort of four-wheel vehicle design. And of course it is VAMP, which they have on the box here, multi-purpose attack vehicle. But obviously VAMP actually stands for Vehicle Assault Multi-Purpose. So they had to kind of flip it around because the VAMP acronym doesn't really make sense. So they had to flip it around and make it make more sense. But then we also get Clutch to go along with it, so a nice awesome character, just the main driver for the G.I. Joes to go on and drive this vehicle, and all of it looks really cool. So it's gonna be awesome, get this nice big vehicle to go along with the Joes. And if we spin it around, we can see, of course, there we get Clutch on the side, so just a nice drawn picture of him. And then we have what we're gonna get, so we have Clutch with all his accessories there, and then the VAMP, so what it's going to look like, and additional accessories that will attach onto the VAMP as well, and some additional little features of inside of the vehicle. So that all just looks really cool. So I'm just super excited for this, just to check out this vehicle. So let me go and get this open out of the box and we'll take a look at it together. So we're going to start off with looking at Clutch, which is Lance Steinberg from Ashbury Park, New Jersey. That was a mechanic and involved in street racing prior to joining the G.I. Joes, but he serves as the team's motor vehicle driver. So obviously not a whole lot about Clutch here, but just that he drives vehicles, specifically more like the VAMP. And overall, he looks pretty cool. Of course, just looks like your normal like G.I. Joe sort of character. Looks just like a military guy, nothing too specific about him. Just wearing a lot of green on this figure with brown thrown in as well, so fits very military-like for him. But overall, we see his face. Overall face looks pretty decent. I just don't like how he's kind of like looking up, so it's kind of weird. Instead of straight on, he's looking more up. But I like how he's got the beard and the hair, of course, with the more military haircut with shorter hair, but it's sort of slid over there to the side, so that all I think looks decent. And then we have his outfit, like I said, with the more military color. So he's got the green like t-shirt on underneath with the American flag there on his right arm, and then he's got tattoos as well, so it looks like some racing tattoos on that side, and then almost, I guess, like racing or whatever sort of tattoos with a like pin-up girl sort of design there with the gloves on his hands. And then he has the vest on top as well, so a lot of the dark green with some brown thrown in, and a holster here on his chest, so that's nice. Belt around the waist with all sorts of pockets, and then the green pants that sort of match the others, running down with some brown like pockets on the sides, the knee pads, and boots on his feet, so dark brown, almost black with some lighter brown on top. And then he has a thigh holster here designed, so has all sorts of pockets and gadgets. Looks like a Swiss Army knife, a flashlight, and just other little tools and stuff. And of course, we can put an accessory in the open slot there. So overall, like I said, not a whole lot to him, nothing too special or crazy, but he looks fine for what it is. But for movements, we get that little twist all the way around, look down that far and up that far, so not bad movements. Shoulders can come up to 90 there with the butterfly joint back and forth, so nice movements there, and can rotate around. We get the bicep twist and the double elbow joint that can bend up that far, so pretty much all the way up on itself, so that's good. With the wrist, that'll twist around and can hinge back and forth. Then we go to the ab crunch, so of course going to be hidden under here, so it's probably going to be just mostly at his waist, but can crunch back and forth and can twist all the way around. Then we go to the hips that come up to 90 and out to the side, at least that far. The flashlight's getting away from going too far, but that far with the drop down hips, got to push back. And then of course there's the thigh twist that'll twist around. Then we go to the double knee joint that can bend up that far to back, almost kicking in his butt, with a shin twist at the top of the boot, and the foot flex back and forth and can twist side to side. So pretty decent movements. There are no major issues or anything going on with him, just the inhibitor of the vest on his chest there that gets rid of that ab crunch, but everything else works out just fine on him. But for accessories, we do get a helmet that we can put on him, so probably be the helmet we give him most of the time. So we just have that just normal helmet. It feels a little bit too loose, and always have had some issues with the G.I. Joes lately, with helmets like being too loose and not sitting on properly, as well as we get more of like almost like the Steel Brigade or whatever they were called sort of helmet there. But I love how it's got the painting almost like the front of the airplane with like the teeth design. It's like cool with the red visor, and then of course the helmets we've seen before. Now this should be able to fit on him as well, so you can put that on, but we will be using this for a different character. For this, I'll just go and be using this normal helmet on his head. And then weapon wise, or I guess this is just an extra accessory, we do get a wrench, so nice wrench design. It can be, working on the VAMP and everything, so we get the nice red wrench that we can put into the slot here on his thigh, so it just slides right down in there, so that's always stored on him. And then as usual for the Joes, we get a pistol. So nice. It looks just like basic military pistol, like with the star on it there. So that looks nice. We can put this into the holster here on his chest. So just slide that down in there. And then we get his main weapon of the shotgun. So that looks pretty cool. We've seen shotguns like this before. So let's put this in his hand. So there I got the shotgun in his hands, which while doing it, I noticed that he does have the hinge on the left, so that usually makes him left-handed, but it's kind of hard to do with the pistol and stuff there, so it's kind of curving the butt of the gun there, but just to put it in his hand like that, but obviously you could easily put it in the other hand, switch it around, but like I said, just since he has that hinge, usually makes them left-handed. So overall, that's all we get for Clutch, no other additional accessories. Of course, everything else we get goes with the VAMP, but overall, I think he looks pretty cool there, so we'll set him aside and now look at the VAMP. So here we have the VAMP, which is the Vehicle Assault Multi-Purpose, as I said, for spelling out VAMP, but they kind of switched it around on the box so it would make a little more sense. But it's a four-wheel drive military vehicle often used by the Joes that can reach 140 miles per hour and tow larger weapon systems. And it has a pair of 50 cal machine guns mounted on the back. And overall, this thing looks pretty cool. It's nice, big in size, probably about the size of what, especially compared to our figures, of a real life Jeep. And overall, it just looks awesome with the design. Of course, it is in all like the military green color, so that looks cool. So we can see that overall for the body, have like the Joe logo there on the side and all sorts of little stuff printed on it. So it says to unhatch, pull. So we have all these little hatches going around the body to undo it, have numbers on the sides, procedures, a tool set is pointing there, danger with some stuff. Of course, it's all there, it's actual word, but it's just too small for me. Of course, the nice big tires on it that have like some flexibility to them, so for rough terrain, with the green hubcaps going around to the back. Of course, says United States, caution. Once again, we have the tow hook here on the back, of course, stand away, brake lights, some additional storage there that I will show you, the mount for the gun, and then going to this side, of course, more of the exact same words. We have med kit there, and then of course all the step ups and everything. We have rear view mirrors that are actually like reflective, so you can actually like see stuff in there. Of course, so we have grips here on the roll bar to be able to hold on to. We have the American flag on the right side here, of course the Joe logo once again, and then stuff on the front. So we have like the ram bar type stuff on the front, tow hooks, of course, says caution there, some additional like floodlight designs, headlights. We do have a tow hook here, so on a string sort of thing, you can pull out and do that. We have additional like little like storage sections, something stored up there, and then we do have the hood that does open up too to see the engine. Of course, there's nothing really going on in there, so you just see this big material design, but you can lift that hood up. Then we have the windshield, which I like how it has like a blue tint up the top there, and then this does open up so you can have that down if you want it, with the lights up top there as well, so it can really light up a lot with all the light options. And then we have the inside, so obviously we have the driver's seat, so we have a steering wheel back there. We do have the shifter that can shift back and forth, which is cool, and all sorts of little details, designs, and buttons going along the dashboard there to the passenger seat, which looks like they have nice leather seats and stuff in there. So all of that looks really nice, just with all the designs and details and everything just going on in there. They just put so many little details into all of this to make it look this cool. So such an awesome looking vehicle. And of course, with this we do get a number of accessories, so we'll just kind of start with the front here. So we get a shovel, so almost like the military shovels there, that we can take and sort of clip onto the top. So right on the hood we have this grip piece, so we can just clip this on here, so that's clamped on the hood, so they always have that shovel available. Now I do think like this was another thing that you can sort of attach on, like I said, obviously the tow hook thing as well. We can grip it onto something and tow it back, but gotta then rewind this all back up. And then as we start to go toward the back, there is a little clamp section on here. Now this is for the fire extinguisher, so we get a little fire extinguisher, which is pretty cool, I guess, that it came with. So we can clamp this onto there, so it's always there accessible in case they have any fires. And then at the very back for this like little cage section, we do get some oil canister, gas canisters, whatever, so extra fuel. So we have that, which I like how they have danger printed on with the flammable logo and stuff, so that is pretty nice. So we have those that we can stick into the back. And while we're back here, there is also this grip section that it also comes with a fire axe. So of course this feels pretty cheap compared to other ones we've gotten. The blade's real thick, so didn't really do too much for it, but we can actually take this and slide this in here as well. So they have that fire axe as well if they ever need that. And while we're on the back here, we can go ahead and add the 50 cal gun. So we get two 50 cal mounted guns here, which is really cool because you can actually take these off as well and then give them to the Joes. So we could give it to like Roadblock or whatever that kind of uses guns. So we have that as well that we can take off, but they're just sort of mounted here together. So it's on this nice contraption, and then it will have some movements, but like this has the hinge, so it can hinge back and forth. It'll also aim a little higher or lower, but it's on this piece that just attaches onto this plug. So we just take and attach it onto there. So now it's mounted, and of course on that it can rotate around, so it can be shooting around at different things. So that is pretty cool. And to go along with those guns, we also get ammo canisters. So we have ammo here that we can take and feed into the gun as well. So there's the ammo canisters now feeding up into the gun. So obviously they can be firing those off and emptying this out. Now, unfortunately, these just sort of float there, sit around. I know people are doing stuff to like attach them onto it, or I think I saw there's already like a third party releasing like a thing you can do back here that'll have attachments for them, which I think is pretty cool. But yeah, we just have that as well. Don't know what to do with them, but they just sort of float around in there. So there we have the VAMP all put together and looks really nice and cool, moves nice and smooth. Of course, I did forget to say you did have to assemble some stuff, like put the wheels on and everything else. And like I said, this piece up here, the lights and all that. So you did have to do some assembly on this, but everything else about it just looks super cool. And of course, now having that, we can take our Clutch and put him in the driver's seat. So there is Clutch in the driver's seat. Now, he does seem a little bit too tall, like he can't really see too well out of the window because it's, kind of hard to see straight on there. So he seems like he's sitting up a little bit too tall, but, I have him down in there, he's got his hands on the wheel and all that, so he fits in there really well. So that all looks pretty cool and well, and of course, we can then take any sort of characters and add them into our passenger seat. So what we're going to do is we got another grunt here, and I think we added some extra, like, someone else's, like, accessories, like vests and stuff on there. I'm not exactly sure who it's all from, but we're going to take him and then take that extra helmet, this one, and put it on his head, and then we can put him into the passenger seat so he can be the additional person with this vehicle. So there's our other character in the passenger seat, and I just gave him Clutch's gun to have it shooting out the front so they can be chasing after somebody, and him shooting out the front, and then of course have the 50 cals on the back as well, so we could take him, put him back there, or somehow attaching on this to be able to control it, because I do believe this is like remote controlled, like with inside the vehicle, so it kind of gets controlled on its own. But since it has the handles and stuff, you could put somebody back there as well. So I think that looks cool. So we just did that, like I said, took this additional character, customized him a little, I'd make him look different to make him the passenger to go along with the VAMP, and I think that overall looks really cool. Now, of course, we can show additional vehicles with this, just so you can see like size comparisons. So here is the Ram cycle. So here's the size of the VAMP compared to the Ram cycle. So obviously you can see it's much bigger, and like I said, probably in size quite comparable to like a G Wrangler, whatever in size. So that is pretty cool to have those two along. So we have two Joe vehicles now side by side. And of course we can bring in the his tank as well, which it's going to be hard to fit both of these in, so you can see the size difference. But obviously the his tank is much bigger compared to the VAMP, but they're obviously not like too much bigger. Like I thought it'd be much bigger, but seeing size wise and stuff, it's actually not too bad. Obviously, like I said, the VAMP definitely is smaller, but it's cool. So I feel these are quite comparable, having the VAMP go after the his tank like this. Obviously the his tank just has much bigger guns and everything on it, so it's going to be much more dangerous, but I think overall, like I said, size wise isn't too bad of comparison to go along together. So I think that looks pretty cool as well. So overall, that is going to be it for the VAMP and Clutch. I think both are really cool. Of course, Clutch, like I said, is pretty much just a basic guy. He's just there to drive the VAMP, is really the only reason for his inclusion, because like I said, otherwise he's pretty boring, nondescript, not as unique as other Joe characters are. But just getting him included with the VAMP is, of course, the VAMP is a very nice looking vehicle. I absolutely love this. Looks very nice, so going to be awesome to have that added to the Joe collection now, because it just looks amazing. But let me know what you thought of the VAMP with Clutch down in the comments, and if you enjoyed my review, let me know with a like, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to see more of our videos. But I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.